The Good News, a dose of positivity, with Jordan Landes and Tali Miller.
Hello everyone, welcome to The Good News Show. I'm your host, Jordan Landes. I'm joined today by an amazing company that I just heard about, EcoMingling. I'm joined by Benjamin and Richard. Benjamin and Richard, thank you guys so much for joining us today.
Hi man, Jordan. Happy to be here.
Awesome. So Richard, I want to start with you first. I want to ask you a little bit about your background. How did you meet Benjamin? How did you guys kind of come together and get this thing started with EcoMingling?
So I made Aliyah about 6 years ago. And one of the first things I got involved in was a packaging company from Australia that was doing biodegradable. And I was always keen on the environment. I'd always been aware of waste when I was in the UK. So coming to Israel and being around the beaches suddenly really amplified it, you know, like the problem. And so I got involved with this Australian company. They wanted me to test the market in Israel with biodegradable products, which was a real challenge at the time. This was about 4 or 5 years ago now. And as part of that, I started to get involved with the IDC and mentoring some of the students there. And one evening after a talk, Benjamin and I started talking, and I was sharing with him, you know, the things I believe in, and from there we started to develop a friendship. And then as EcoMingling grew, Benjamin came on board.
So Benjamin, I want to ask you, give me some of your background. How did you get into this, sector of sustainability? What piqued your interest? Just tell me about yourself.
So yeah, first of all, I'm studying third-year government sustainability. So my background is basically, I'm originally from Germany. I moved to Israel around 5 years ago in 2015. And I had this funny conversation with a friend where he told me, like electric cars are the future. And I was like, that's just bullshit. What are you talking about, And he's like, no, there's this Elon Musk guy and Tesla, and you should really check them out. They have good cars. So I was literally going away from this talk saying, like, what the hell is this guy talking about? And I checked out Tesla, and basically from that day, I was super fascinated about sustainability and the future, what it brings with it. And it was really amazing and inspiring. So basically then out of that, decided to study government sustainability in IDC. That was the main decision.
And then, so I know that you got in contact with your partner, Richard, and you guys really got this thing going of EcoMingling. Can you tell me, how did that process start? How did the idea come up, and how did it just originate?
So like Richard said, we met in IDC at an entrepreneurship club called Greenbiz. And from there, we kept in touch. And one day I saw that he is having a new project, and basically just texted him and said, hey man, what are you doing? And we had a talk, and from that day we were kind of working on this every day, had conversations, meetings, and that's how we got from last year till today with EcoMingling.
It's really awesome. I mean, I think you guys have a really, great relationship, and, Richard talked about the trust and the communication, which has been great. I want to know, Benjamin, what is your hope for the company? What are you guys trying to accomplish? What's the main goal, and how are you guys going to get there?
The main goal is that, we want to we want to make the progress of sustainability faster. When one of the first conversations I had with Richard, I was telling him that changing the sustainability sector is not just talking about reducing plastic or anything like that. It's actually about changing the mindset, changing education, changing the world. And so when I look at EcoMingling, it has this potential of changing the world, changing part of the world to a more sustainable future, what we all want to head to, If you look at the climate change, if you want to look at what's happening in the world right now, and we need sustainability right now.
EcoMingling, you guys are really aiming to unite different stakeholders from different backgrounds to create the right conditions for sustainability, for a sustainable change. So Benjamin, I want to ask you, what do you think is unique about EcoMingling that separates it from other sustainability sectors in the companies?
So first of all, when we look at the sustainability world, it's the future. That's how I would define it. And basically, when we look at sustainability and how we differ from other NGOs, it's basically we're trying. We saw the problem in the sustainability world, right? Where there was like a gap between like the communication between different stakeholders, right? So we said, I think Richard can answer this better, to be honest. I think we should
Jordan,
have said that before the meeting.
that's all
Yeah,
right.
for sure.
Jordan, can you repeat the question again?
Yeah, so Richard, I just want to ask you, and Benjamin, feel free to chime in. What do you think separates EcoMingling from other sustainability companies in the sector? What makes EcoMingling unique?
Okay, so EcoMingling was really founded based on shared beliefs. I mean, what I missed out in that conversation I gave you before is what Benjamin and I connected on was that we had the same values and beliefs about what we saw going on in in the world, particularly around the environment. So when we came together with EcoMingling, it was around communication. So we weren't trying necessarily to be the solution, but what we knew was that there was such fertile ground in Israel. It was so rich with ideas, and there was this new wave of people. I mean, all the students at the IDC that are mixing sustainability and engineering and sustainability and politics and sustainability and business. So there was this energy like that I became aware of in Israel, but it was very fragmented. So we could see that there were solutions were everywhere. I mean, these were the people that were going to come up with all the best ideas, but they just weren't talking to each other. So for me, it became about communication. It was like, what can we do now? So EcoMingling was formed to become a hub for all things sustainable, essentially, but primarily to bring together the stakeholders that were already invested and already had either the infrastructure or the ideas, but they were just missing the strength in numbers. So what we really set out to do was, the original idea was to map out the sustainability sector in Israel. What it turned into was our first proof of concept became the IPPC, which is the first and only coalition in Israel that is specifically about the reduction and removing the dependency of single-use plastic in Israel. So, but what we were doing was we were taking the people that were already there, and then we were giving the tools to communicate with each other better and to find each other and then to trust each other. I mean, so much of what we do is relationship management, but essentially by bringing all these different, at the minute we've got all the main NGOs in Israel, from Tali, EcoOcean, Megamar, Eureka. We've also got the main activists like Plastic Free Israel, Straw Free Israel. We have just such a wealth of people that are all connected with reducing the dependency on single-use plastic. And then we bring them together. We create a board. We help them find their logo. We help them get organized and with their theory of change and strategies. And we give them tools like Trello and Slack. And we then drive them forwards towards their goal. And it's amazing to see. I mean, once these people start to sit in a room together and say, well, we're doing that and we're connected with that, and other people are like, well, hold on, we need contact with them, and we get stuff done like that. It's amazing. I mean, if it's not talking too long, I can give you a really quick example of something that we did.
Please do.
Okay, so we were sitting in a room early on, even before we managed to put together the board. This was just really the early pioneers of the coalition that wanted to talk. And I was hosting a meeting, and we had the CEO of EcoOcean, and they work with Adam Teva Verdin, and Adam Teva Verdin are working with the government on the national laws, drafting a paper. So we were like really keen, like, look, how can we get involved? And do they want to come to the meetings? They need to be here. If we're all here and we're going to create this coalition to remove and ban single-use plastic in Israel, these guys need to be in the room. And at the time, he was like a bit, a protective, I guess. So it was like we were just trying to get updates. And funnily enough, he was actually on a conference call at the time. There were 3 of us in the room, and he said, look, I think what they're doing now, he gave us an update, and he said, what they're doing at the minute is they're about to do this kind of global report. So that Adam Teva Verdin want to understand what's being done around the world with plastic and who's doing what's successful, what isn't, so that they can then look at what to do for Israel. I was sitting next to a woman, this amazing marine biologist called Galia Pasternak, right? She's just a data cruncher. She's phenomenal, okay? And she just pipes up and says, oh, hold on, that report was done a few years ago and they've just updated it. It's already done. So we're like, Arik, so I said to Galia, well, can you send that report to me so I can forward it to Arik? And she said, yeah, sure, give me a minute. Within 5 minutes, I had that report. Within 7 minutes, Arik had that report. By the next morning, Adam Teva Verdin had that report. We saved them time and we saved them money. And we didn't even break a sweat. that is the power of coalitions. So when you put the right people in the room and you give them trust, so that they're comfortable with each other, things fly so quickly. I mean, the hard part for us is really building the structure and putting the infrastructure in place for these people to work. But once they're firing, things are going to move very quickly.
No, for sure. And I think, you know, you really touched on the communication and the trust, and that's really what's putting it all together. Now, ask Benjamin now, you know, so you were a student here in Israel. And I guess, you know, what we do on the show is we talk about a lot of the good news and the positivity in Israel, because a lot of times in the media, we like to focus on the negativity. So what we're doing now is we're focusing on the positivity. And I want to ask you, Benjamin, what makes it unique that, you know, EcoMingling is here in Israel, you know, in terms of communicating with other people, with being in places like Tel Aviv and Herzliya and Renana, with a lot of high-tech companies around, and different types of people from different backgrounds? I mean, what makes it an interesting play for EcoMingling to be here in Israel against other countries, like, for sure?
Oh, interesting answer. So we have the two parts, right? We have sustainability and an accelerator. So when it comes to sustainability, and I would like to quote the definition of sustainability here, is the meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future generations to meet their needs. So this is based on 3 pillars: economic, environment, and social. And you have also the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, you know, from the United Nations, where all the countries have these goals they want to achieve till 2030. And now, basically, the transition, and we as the team EcoMingling, we think this transition is going really slow. So we want it to happen faster. That's why accelerate, right? We want to accelerate. So an accelerator is giving the environment to people to gain knowledge, to accelerate, to be more knowledgeable and make something better. So this is basically what EcoMingling is about.
Jordan, so Benjamin was just giving you a sort of a brief introduction to how we define a sustainability accelerator. To answer your question specifically about why Israel, it's the people. Like, why Israel? Because Israel is a country that has battled against the odds time and time again, and right now, make no mistake, we are battling against the odds. When Benjamin says accelerator, there's a reason we use that word. The SDGs, I think they've changed it from Agenda 21 now to Agenda 2030. That gives us, 10 years, okay? By all measures, all the data suggests we're almost past the tipping point. You know, it's stage critical. We're on alert level 5, whatever they use for the governments, you know. So why Israel? Because Israel has the ability, we have a network in Israel that is phenomenal. I mean, all you have to do is go into a bar in Israel, and it's not long before you can bump into someone that knows someone that knows someone. I mean, what we've been able to achieve with the resources that we have available with EcoMingling and the IPPC has been off the scale. It's off the clock. I mean, the list of achievements is just phenomenal. And the reason we can do it is because when Israelis come together under one umbrella, one shared blanket of belief, they are able to mobilize and influence and activate in a way that no other country can on this planet. And I mean that across the board. You know, we're a multicultural society in Israel now. And so bringing these people together in the right environment in Israel means we can start to send out a different story from Israel, right? Israel, yes, we're the high-tech nation. Yes, we're great at medical marijuana. Yes, you know, we hit weapons. We're brilliant at weapons. Now let's teach the rest of the world how to care for their beaches. Let's show them how to protect their environment with our ingenuity and our innovation. You know, let that be some of the stories that go out for the rest of 2020 and 2021 about Israel. And it's that storyline, and it's the individual characters that are coming together that is generating reciprocity like I've never experienced before. I mean, in Israel, all you've got to be careful of is being taken for a ride. You know, we are finding standout Israelis who have been muted for too long, standing up and saying, I believe in what you're saying. I love this cause. Let me come and help. And so whether it's Michal, who's this wonderful woman, I haven't even met her yet, who did the logo for us out of nowhere, just stood up and said, I'll do the logo for the IPPC. Whether it's Ariel from a PR agency called Koch & Co in Jerusalem, who stepped up and said, I'll write the script for your launch video, you know, or whether it's Yifat, who runs a marketing company, who said, I'll step up and help you manage the social media campaign. You know, it's a galgal, it's a wave that is growing. And we're just so proud to be doing it out of Israel. It starts
really
here
awesome.
and spreads out.
It's not
It's
only
right.
that, they are basically heading towards making a world record try here in Israel
Oh yeah,
to
yeah.
clean the
Tell them.
beaches in all over Israel. So
Wow.
the major NGOs, including the IPPC, EcoMingling, it's happening in September, and they want to get 16,000 people on the beaches in Israel in September to make like a world record and show the world, hey, let's do this. You know, Israel can do this. We can all do this together here. And yeah, it's a major mission. So it's going to be a fun trip
I mean, this
to
is awesome.
September.
I mean, I just got really inspired, and I'll tell you now that I would love to be one of those people on the beach for sure in September. You know, and
Yeah, go on
yeah, it's going to be a
Facebook.
historic moment.
yeah, I'm really excited about it. And you know, kind of running out of time here, but I want to ask you one more question before we go. I know you guys are super busy. You know, since we're in this COVID-19 period right now, I'm sure that, you know, your communication and, you know, your work specifically here has been probably altered in a way, the way you guys are communicating as a team. What has life been like from a structural and a functional, you know, period of time now that we're in terms of communicating, if it's meetings over Zoom, if it's, you know, really just doing a lot of self-work, what has been, you know, the work been like in this period for you guys?
I would say it's an opportunity. It was more like an opportunity. We were more focused. We were brainstorming more. We had more time, you know, for meetings. Richard is currently in the UK. Alex, our other co-founder, is basically in Herzliya, and I'm in Tel Aviv. So we're all over.
And we've
And
got
it
a
was really like, what?
sorry, Benjamin,
Regan,
to
yeah.
interrupt.
Yeah, we also have
Regan is in the US.
intern in America, and time differences and all of that. You know, it really makes it's a challenge, but it really helped us to focus ourselves. And every week it's always like a learning curve, and it became actually like a really great thing for us. And especially also when it comes to EcoMingling and the Plastic Coalition. With the coronavirus, it kind of gave these NGOs and us this new vision of seeing, wow, okay, everyone is kind of struggling, right? And now because we have to unite, you know, that's what through uniting, we can achieve something great. So all of these NGOs realized if they combine their forces, they can achieve way better things than just going by themselves. And it really, especially during this coronavirus time, they really realized it. And every week, seems like they really like realize it more and more and more, especially now the world record try, you know, all these things, they're all doing it together.
Jordan,
Yeah,
can I just add something onto that?
yeah, please do.
Okay, so yeah, coronavirus for us has been electric. Like, it's been tackling sustainability or building a business or, you know, a startup, whatever it is, it's all about turning obstacles into opportunities. And the bigger the obstacle, the bigger the opportunity will be if you have the right state of mind. And something happened with Corona, like from the get-go, we just went electric. And having all these NGOs not only bedded down in their homes, so the CEOs were a bit more available and we could use Zoom and whatever other means we needed to get them online. But they were also really struggling as well, because suddenly it became much more precarious. Suddenly Greenpeace was in trouble in Israel. Suddenly, you know, funding was a problem for these people. So actually in that space, we were able to give them a solution and say, right, now you need to work together more than ever, and we're going to help you do it. And so they were much more attentive towards it, and we started getting things done for them. And actually, in that respect, with the availability of technology we have today, we were able to really start to amplify their voices by combining. You know, we were the first people ever to join their social media campaigns together. So now they have one voice in addition to their own individual voices. The reach is, you know, just between the main organization is like 100,000 on the social media, or just shy of it, like maybe 90,000. So Corona for us was just this wonderful obstacle that we turned into an opportunity. And it links back into why Israel, because Israel is a country that's done that time and time and time again. So, you know, here's another kind of global event that Israel can use to really shine.
Amazing. Richard Benjamin, thank you so much for joining us today. I know you guys have a busy schedule. If people are interested in EcoMingling, I know you guys have a website, ecomingling.com.
Benjamin?
I mean, we have social media, we have Facebook pages, the IPVC Facebook page, also the EcoMingling Facebook page, Instagram. So we're also basically expanding the team. We have a lot of applicants. So if anyone is interested in interning or anything like that, we have a join the team link on the website. So yeah, contact us, if you have any questions regarding sustainability or the sustainability sector, you're more than welcome to click and check it out.
Yeah, Jordan, we're looking for people to help with communication.
Okay, great. Well, we definitely know a lot. We know a lot of them at IDC.
Yeah. Do you know any that used to live in Florida?
We will do our best. But thank you guys so much for joining today. Have a great day and stay safe.